Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. Here we are in the garden house. I've been out here assessing my situation and see what I'm going to have to get going here because it's been springtime all week, and it's got me in the mood for doing this kind of stuff. We had a little bit of wind yesterday, and I just kind of hunkered down and took it easy, did some cleaning in the cabin, cleaning in the containers, things like that. So I wanted to get a video out today to let you know what's happening. So what I've been looking at is I got a few things here I've got to take care of. Number one, two branches crossing each other right here. So the short one will come off because we're starting to show signs of growth here. It looks like the trees have thought it is springtime with all the weather we've been having, and they decided to start pushing the energy up from the roots to the branches and getting things going here. So I'm going to show you over here also on the pear tree. Got some nice little buds coming up on these branches. So yeah, this is that time of year where everything's going to take off. Now these have all been fertilized earlier, a couple of weeks ago, and I don't have to fertilize them now until end of spring or so, about every 3 to 4 months. But everything is looking great here. I did get some red onions planted. I put some in there, put some in there, and half of it, because I still had some green onions on the other side. I put some in here, and I put some back there. So I'll get my red onions going that way. And this bed, these little sprouts that are coming up, I'm not sure. To me, it just looks like grass. But this came out of a bag that says Impatience Border Mix. Easy to apply, low growing, contains 1,500 seeds. It was an accident that some of that ended up in here. That's why it's sporadic with the growth. But I'm going to let them come up a little bit and see what happens, because I'm going to save this bed for a little bit later in the springtime for some other vegetables. This bed over here is my garlic chives coming up here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so there's 10 of those coming up. And then I planted some garlic cloves over here, and there'll be a few days before those sprout. These are onions, and there's some potatoes down there still from last year's harvest. I guess I missed 1 or 2, and they're coming up. So I'll have more potatoes under there. And over here, my strawberries and that stuff are taking off great. Now, another thing I did was I put some crossbars up here, 4-footers over there because of the tree, of course, and then 8-footers running across over here. So when and if these take off and go up, they'll have something to climb on and go across. And that grapevine over there, that one shot up like crazy last year. That was only like that size right over there, that little tiny thing, at the beginning of the year, and it just took off. It went wild. So hopefully I'll get a lot of growth out of that this year, and that'll end up all the way down here, and I'll have some nice shade cover here. So we'll see what happens there, right? All right, but let's move around here, and everything's nice and healthy. I got some broccoli coming out right there, so I'll be eating broccoli soon. I love fresh vegetables. I love having them this handy and this expensive. I mean, boy, these things cost me a lot of money. All free seeds and just growing plants, right? All right, so this branch looks like it's taken. So I should have some an extra fruit tree coming up out of that one. And that box I got in early this morning. I got watermelon on this half and cantaloupe on the other half, and 6 of each. So I don't know if I'll use 6 of them because I don't have the room for that many. But you know, if my neighbors want one to try growing, then I'll share with them. If not, the greens that come up will end up being chicken feed. So just wanted to show you that. And of course the sweet potatoes. And I forgot to mention, and I got called on it. She called me on it. The person that asked about when to harvest sweet potatoes and potatoes, things like that, was Up and Adam 74 down in Australia. That's UPPANDAN, something like that. Up and Adam 74. Punch it into your YouTube search and you'll come up with her. Go over and take a look at. She does a lot of growing and stuff in her little backyard, and she's got some limited space, so she does a lot of container growing. But hey, I'm doing container growing too. That's because it was winter and I'm growing inside of the greenhouse, so I have to use containers. All right, I got a sprout came up here. This is spinach in this box, so looks like the spinach is taking off. And not sure what this little guy is, but let it get a little bit bigger and I'll find out, right? My Sweet Dreams mix flowers right there, they're coming up really healthy, looking good. Tomatoes, of course, I showed you those yesterday. I got some peppers here. I picked these up over at Home Depot, and I got jalapeno and what was the other one? Oh, poblanos. So I like to make chili con carne, and I will be using those. So just wanted to show you all the stuff I got going in here. Now, for tomorrow video, I am going to get involved in showing you how to air layer. And that's why I put all this stuff here. And I'm going to show you the stuff that you need to do air layering. And there's a couple of different options that you can use, but I wanted to show you the stuff that you're going to need. So if you want to get some of that stuff together and give it a try, it's that time of year in a lot of places, if it's springtime in your area. And I'll show you how I know it's that time. Now remember, it's this branch right here that's inside that's growing too close and crossing over on another branch that I want to air layer the top part of it so I can get a tree out of that. And then I'm going to cut it off way down here, and I'm going to graft an apple branch into it and see if I can get an apple growing on the same tree as my pear tree. So we'll see what happens with that. But this section right here is going to be the section of air layer. Now I only need 2 inches for air layering, but see how it's close to here. So what I did was I got myself a couple of boards like this, and what I'll end up doing is putting these in between there and forcing these apart and putting a spacer on there so it holds it apart. But now I can tell you, I know that it's time to get started, because if you look right at the end of this branch right here, you see the green growth. Well, let me get it focused there. And you got some green growth on there, and got some green growth on this one right there at the end, and we got some green growth on this one. So the roots have been sending energy up to this branch. So this branch is got a lot of energy in it, so it should root very quickly on air layering, probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so. So in February sometime would be when I clip this off, and I'll be doing my graft to it. So in the meantime, I've got to get started on this thing, get the air layering going, because I don't want to lose that branch. It seems like a strong branch and it's got some green on it, but I don't want it crossing another branch here because they'll damage each other. Of course, I could scrape the bark on both this one and this one, tie them together, and let them grow back together again, so that now there'll actually be one branch with a gap in the center here. And that's another neat thing you can do. You can weave branches and grow them together so that it becomes like a designer tree. But that's not what I want to do. I want to produce fruit. I want to produce edibles. So that's why I'm going to be using this branch, because it's just the perfect branch to be using. So, some of the things you're going to need if you're going to do some air layering is you'll need a good, sharp, clean pair of, let me see if I can get these things open. Well, I can't get them open right now one-handed, but I got a slight squeeze. Oh, there we go. So you want a nice, clean, sharp pair. And these were on sale at Tractor Supply for $14. So they're a pretty darn good set. They're Coronas. And Corona's a good name in gardening tools. So you want a good, sharp pair of those. For right now, you're not going to really be doing any branch cutting for air layering, but you will be cleaning some small growths and things like that off of it to make sure you got a clean area to work with. Next thing you'll need is a sharp knife. Now, I told you I got this Klein Tools knife. This is a stripping knife for stripping wires for electricians. Okay, and I keep this very, very sharp. This is like razor sharp. So that's something you want. Now, the thing I like about this is when you're air layering is you're going to take about 2 inches of bark off. This blade from the shoulder to the tip is 2 inches. So I can get an exact measurement right there without having to measure it. And the measurement's not super critical. If you're 1/8 of an inch over or under, it'll still work. All right. Some of the other things. You'll need a watering can, a water bucket, a bowl, and some potting soil. The reason I got all of that together is because I want to soak the potting soil and get it really saturated wet. That's going to be a very important thing. Another thing that you'll need, I had to put it in here because the light breeze we have would have blown it away. You'll need a plastic water bottle, like this one, works great. And you'll need a nice sharp pair of scissors. Okay, that's for cutting that bottle. Next, I like to use honey. And I get the 100% raw, pure, natural, uncooked honey. And this is better than the other stuff because a lot of the stuff out there is fake honey. You want to use this really good, all natural, 100% pure, raw, uncooked honey. This works great for rooting. So when I do cut the bark off of the area that I'm going to root, and I scrape the cambium, I'm going to end up coating it with raw honey before I put the potting soil into it. And that just helps promote growth a little bit faster. Now, if you have an ant problem, do not use the honey. The ants will come up the tree, they'll get into your bottle, they'll go after that honey, and they'll hurt your baby roots and the sprouting. So you don't want to use anything sweet like that. You can do it without it. I just like to add a little bit of extra bonus to my air layering. Okay, some of the other things. You can use either this tie tape. This has got no stick on it. It's not glue tape. You can't stick it together. You use this for grafting when you're wrapping the graft onto the tree because you don't want glue to get into it and poison it. You'll need some either twine or string. Works real good because you're going to have to tie the bottle in place so it doesn't slip when it's on the branch, okay? So it doesn't matter what you use, a twine or string. I don't like using nylon. I like using this stuff. It's cheap. It's easy to handle. So also, you can go to a place like Staples or something like that. This goes a long way. This is stretch wrap you use for wrapping products that you're going to end up mailing or shipping or something like that. I like wrapping my bottle after it's on the branch full of soil and ready to go. I wrap it in that stuff. and it just holds it really well in case the strong winds come up. It doesn't disrupt it, and I don't end up shaking dirt out of my air layer area. Okay, now if you don't have one of these Klein knives, you don't have to run out and buy one. You can use one of these utility knives, and you can put the blade out and measure it to 2 inches, and then right here you got a double switch, so you pull that back and that locks it, so now it won't close on you. So now you got that perfect for working, because these are very sharp. They work very well, and you've got to have a sharp knife. Do not try to do this with a dull kitchen knife. You will do more damage to the branch than it's worth. All right, another thing is aluminum foil. As you've seen before when I did grafts, I wrap the grafts in aluminum foil, and I just go buy the cheapest stuff I can find for doing this stuff, because it's going to get thrown away anyway. But you're going to need aluminum foil, and what that does, it's going to keep the sunlight off of your growth area. You don't want sunlight to hit roots of a plant. It'll kill the plant. So we're going to wrap that plastic bottle, once it's in place, with aluminum foil so the sun can't get in there. All right, so those are the things that you need to get ready so that you can do your grafting after I show you how to do it. Not grafting, air layering after I show you how to do it. And then we'll be doing grafting down the line, and I'll show you how to do that too. You don't need most of this stuff for the grafting. You'll just use the sharp knife, the pruners, and the tape, and the foil. And of course, water. Now, I put this little watering can here. This makes things easier if you can get a hold of one of these little watering cans. If you can't, don't worry about it. You can use a water bottle, a plastic water bottle. Put a little hole in the cover of it, and you squeeze it and squirt it, because you're going to end up watering your air layered section probably every 2 to 3 days when you start, and then you can drop off to once a week, and the roots will just go crazy inside that bottle. You'll see. A lot of fun, pretty easy. So get your stuff together, and look forward to the next video. This is G Bear signing off.